Welcome, Pewter Report readers, viewers, and listeners to another edition of the Pewter Report podcast presented by Briar Greaves. That's right. Briar Greaves is the official insurance company of pewterreport.com. Protecting your assets starts with the company that you can count on. For auto, homeowners, flood, boaters, or business insurance, turn to Briar Greaves Insurance. Visit them on the web at briargreavesinsurance.com or give them a call at 813-876-4166. After Josh Grizzard's appearance last night on the Pewter Report podcast, we're turning to the defensive side of the ball. That's right, pass rush. Let's talk some pass rush and outside linebackers with the Bucs co-defensive coordinator and outside linebackers coach Larry Foote, who joins myself, Scott Reynolds, and Adam Slovan on the Pewter Report podcast tonight. Coach, how are you doing?
Man, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. We're excited about this, and I was excited that you had the opportunity to call plays last Saturday night in a place you're very familiar with. You played some linebacker for the Pittsburgh Steelers for well over a decade, and certainly had some big-time success with the Steelers. Matter of fact, you played the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and even recorded a sack on one Byron Leftwich, and there you are tackling Cadillac Williams back in your Steelers days. But what was it like to go back to Pittsburgh and call plays for Todd Bowles in the defense last Saturday night and come away with the win?
Oh, it was awesome. It was a big-time honor just to go back in that place where I'm familiar with. I lived there for 11 years, and it was just an awesome experience. Just being ahead of those guys. You know, we got 90 on the roster right now. Just being in front of those guys and calling plays, it was an awesome experience. Most importantly, we got the win.
Yeah.
And it was just an awesome experience. Just practicing them against them on Thursday. Some of my former teammates was there.
Yeah.
And they tried to, talk about the old days, but I had to work. And they was messing with me a little bit. But just such an awesome experience. I'm very thankful that Todd Bowles gave me that opportunity.
I asked Coach about you calling plays, and he said, because George Edwards called them against the Titans, and he says, George called things differently than I would have called them, and that's okay. Larry really called the game kind of like I would call it. What does that mean to you to hear that from Todd Bowles, one of the best play callers in the league?
Oh, man, that's definitely a big-time honor, but I've been with him for a long time. Last year playing My last year playing in 2014 in Arizona, he was my DC. So I know what he likes. I know what he wants, but we're similar. We're attacking style coaches, but I've been around him, and why not emulate one of the best?
Yeah. Speaking of attacking, you guys are attacking the ball. You have to love all these interceptions, Coach. 3 more on Saturday night, 6 interceptions in 2 games after just getting 7. And in its entirety on defense last year in 18 games, including the playoffs. I know it's preseason. Hopefully this carries over, but this has to be a really good trend that you're seeing. Tighter coverage, more pass breakups. You have 16 in 2 games, and then more importantly, more takeaways, 6 interceptions.
Oh, it go hand to hand. We're getting a pass rush up front, and guys, like you just mentioned, we're closer to receivers.
Yeah.
So, and we're just coming down with them. And guys, that's our motto. Every defense in the league are talking about turnovers, but our guys are going out there and executing, and we're proud of how them guys are playing. And it's fun. It's just, that motivation and just that, it lights a fire on the whole sideline, not just the defense, but the offensive guys, special team guys, that everybody get fired up because you literally snatch the momentum, and that's the name of the game: get turnovers.
That's right.
Yeah, and for the defense, as they look to attack more this year, there was a reuniting of sorts with Haason Reddick. You coached him when he began his career with the Cardinals back in the day. He's here. He's in Tampa. So I have to ask, how have you seen his play evolve this offseason? And what do you enjoy most about coaching him?
Well, I got a funny story with Haason. When I went to go work him out in Temple, a lot of people, half the league probably had him at off the ball backer. The other half wanted him to be a rusher. And that's what he did at Temple. He rushed off the edge, had a lot of sacks. And when I got there, I told him, because with the Cardinals, we was looking at him for off the ball.
Mm-hmm.
So I go out there and work them out. I say, listen, you tell everybody you want to be a pass rusher. Do not, he never played off the ball. I said, you tell these people you want to be a pass rusher.
Yeah.
You get your 10 sacks a year and get your $100 million. You want to be a
Yep.
pass rusher. So him being humble, oh, I do whatever you want me, guys. I do whatever. So he didn't listen to me, but he come
And then
out
you
there and
coached him.
learn, and
You
I coached him.
yeah.
I love the talent, but
Yeah.
I just know that's a hard,
Yeah.
the never playing off the ball, and all of a sudden you get thrown in the NFL. You have to play off the ball, make calls,
Yeah.
checks, and see that stuff, and playing coverage. And he definitely has the ability to do it, but I knew it'd be a learning curve. But he picked it up fast.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
eventually, when I got here, they finally moved him outside, and he took off. And
Right.
we mentioned it today. I said, man, you already be at 100 sacks if you just listen to me. So we get a
Yeah.
big crack about that. But I'm glad we got him. He's such a pro, and he just evolved so much as his career went on. And he had a bad year last year. We all know the politics or whatever went on last year with the Jets, but I'm
Yeah.
glad that we got him, and he's helping the young guys out tremendously.
He's so
Yeah.
excited to be here. He's always smiling.
Right.
I mean, he's really, really excited to be a Buccaneer, isn't he?
Oh yeah, he's excited. Kind of like last year was like a red shirt year, so he's ready to get after it, and he loves ball. He's a competitor, and he's always smiling. But he's kind of like Shaq Barrett, and not the biggest guy, but
Yeah.
he's real mean, and he has a punch, and I'm excited to see how he plays this year.
Yeah, and he's an exciting addition, and thankfully he did listen to you because he had that stretch with the Eagles, and really for 4 seasons he had like 52 sacks. He was forcing fumbles left and right, but as he was the big offseason addition to the outside linebacker room, how confident are you that he will return to that previous level of play?
Oh, I'm definitely confident just watching him in training camp and his legs. You can't teach that speed he has, but I'm more impressed with just the knowledge. And part of that position that get lost sometimes is you got to have instincts. You got to have a feel for how they're trying to block you and the plays and angles. And he's a natural at it.
Mhm.
And he's not the biggest, so you got to have that, and he has it. And you can't coach that burst that he has. He'll be gone before you even see him. And just his knowledge of the game, and that's why he's been one of the top sack guys since he's been playing that position.
Yeah.
And you also saw him drop back in coverage too during the joint camp. He had an interception, so you saw a little bit of the off-ball linebacker
Right.
skills too, and that's something that Todd Bowles likes to do with the outside linebackers.
He's been great. I told him be careful because the more you show that, the more Todd Bowles gonna have you dropping backward. Don't show it too
Nobody
much.
wants to see that, coach.
Yeah.
No, but that's gonna help us out big time. That's
Yeah.
gonna help us out big time because Coach Bowles going that cave, and he come out with all types of exotic defenses, and number 5 gonna be all over the place, and it's an advantage for us.
Let me ask you one more thing about Haason Reddick. And of course the game still has to be played, and he's going up against pro guys. But it's interesting because Haason Reddick, he likes to rush from that left end position, right, where he goes up against the right tackle,
Right.
kind of in the face of quarterbacks. But guess what? Week 1, he's going to be rushing the blind side of Michael Penix Jr., who's a left-handed quarterback. And they just had an injury with Caleb McGarry, their starting right tackle. The backup tackle for Atlanta, Storm Norton, is also out for this game. I'm just going to go on record saying I think Haason Reddick's going to have kind of like a grand opening when it comes to rushing the passer in week 1. What are your thoughts?
I don't mind that, but I will receive that. But we're gonna line him up all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna line him up. He does like the left side, and but we've been mixing him up.
Yeah.
We'll look at matchups or whatever the defense is, but he's gonna be all over the place. But definitely, left hand quarterback, the blind side, but whoever's rushing, you got to think about getting that ball.
Yeah.
But hopefully we can hold up and we come out ready to roll week 1.
You returned to coaching the outside linebacker position this season after doing so from 2019 to 2021 when you first got here. That was when you worked with Shaq Barrett, Jason Pierre-Paul, a couple Pro Bowlers. Shaq's big time year was under your watch, 19 and a half sacks, new Bucs record, led the league. Now you've got Haason Reddick and Yaya Diaby leading the room. How does this room compare to those guys? I know that Yaya's still young in his career, and Jason Pierre-Paul was more established for sure, but so is Haason Reddick. Where do you see your current starters stack up against Shaq and JPP?
Well, the talent is definitely there. Make no mistake about that. The talent is definitely there. I shared with Yaya actually today. I said, look, TJ Watt and some of the top guys in this league, you're more talented than them. Far as, you're bigger, you're faster, and you got power and you got some quicks. I said, that's just part of it. You got to have instincts. You got to have passion, a motor. You got to be in, I've been challenging him since I got in that room this year.
Yeah.
You got to be in the best shape in your life.
Yeah.
And you got to be a student. You got to study and you got to work on your craft.
Yeah.
You got to do that. And if you do that, you know what I'm saying, you're going to be right up there with those guys. Because if I had to choose, give me a very talented guy or a guy that understands rush and angles and how he's getting blocked, give me that guy over the talented guy.
Right.
And that's what he got to incorporate to his game, because there's no reason for that talent he's going to be under 10 sacks.
Yeah.
I know that can fluctuate, the quarterback threw the ball,
Sure.
but you got to be winning majority of the time because he has that type of talent. So I've been really challenging him on being a student. And, his God-given ability is going to show.
And you take one look at Yaya Diaby, and you would think that he's built in a lab. And in a lot of ways, like, his size and power makes him the perfect complement to Haason Reddick. And so in what ways have you kind of seen him refine and develop his pass rush moves and be that student of the game this offseason?
He's just been growing. He's been taking the awesome part with Yaya is he wants to learn. He wants, all throughout the summer, we just sending videos and tapes and moves. And he's a pro at it. Now he's putting the work in it. And he want to be good. I remind him every day, you see what these pass rushers are getting. And this is year 3. This is year 3. And I say, look, and Scott, how I get on them guys. I said, but look, this is a partnership. And I'm gonna get some crumbs off of your work. So and we in this thing together, but that's right there in front of them. As a off the ball back, I was always jealous of those guys because they get all the money and we do all the work. We do all the communication, all the work. But no, I'm excited, and he's growing. He had an awesome camp, and he's working and growing. But my main thing, I've been challenging him mentally, like, to make the game real easy to you. In year 3, that's when you start, the game slows down to you. So I'm excited to see him. And they're a perfect tandem. They're a perfect tandem. And I'm excited to see those guys go. Now, JPP and Shaq, that's a special duo right there.
Right.
And but similar. They're kind of similar in size and stature. JPP, Yaya. Then you got Haason and Shaq. So I'm excited. One thing that them guys got to know, and those guys were dogs.
Yeah.
Especially those guys were dogs, and they love to play against the run.
Yeah.
And you got to always you got to earn the right to rush the passer. So you got to play against that run, because if you're not, it's going to be less chances to get after that quarterback.
For sure. And I love the fire that JPP brought to the team too. He had an edge. You know what I mean, Larry? Like he had an edge. He was not afraid to get in people's faces, in a good, positive way. But he brought an edge to him from the Giants, where he was kind of an old school guy, right? He was brought up with, Justin Tuck, Matthias Kiwanuka, some of those older guys. I feel like Haason Reddick's kind of bringing an edge too. He's a Jersey guy, went to Philly and played at Temple. Do you feel like he's bringing some of that edge similar to what JPP had too?
Absolutely. I've seen it when we started off with the joint practice. One of the first periods we didn't do as well, and he just challenged all the guys, and they responded. He was the loudest one, and as a coach, you just always just ear hustling, seeing what's going on the sideline, and I see him rally them guys up, and they responded. But
Yeah.
he definitely has that edge. He's not as loud, but when he talk, he's serious. He's
Yeah.
serious, and everybody responded to him.
Mm. And when you look at like the Bucs pass rush this season, it's not just like the outside pass rush that has all the talent. Like you have Vita Vea, Kalijah Kancey, so there's gonna be sacks kind of spread around. But when you look at Reddick and Diaby, do you think that they have Pro Bowl potential and could maybe reach double-digit sacks, even though there's so much talent around?
Oh, yeah. I mean, they got the talent. They got the talent. When you start talking about sacks, though, you got to watch the tape closely because they can be winning a lot. The ball can be thrown, coverage, et cetera, et cetera. Like you just mentioned, you just won clean, but Kancey beat this guy and got there faster. So that
Yeah.
stuff is always in play. But without a doubt, the talent is there. Those guys can be Pro Bowlers. I'm also excited about Braswell and his growth from year one to year two. He's
Yeah.
having a very good camp and learning from them guys.
Yeah.
And Nelson, I've really been challenging him because I had him as a pup,
That's right.
and I expect him to keep going. And I'm excited about the whole room.
One of the things I noticed about Yaya, and I think this is just kind of like being still a young player, there was a play or two against Pittsburgh where he saw that little bit of opening, right? And he kind of took the cheese. Like he's like being mousy. He took the
Hey
cheese.
man, is my notes in here somewhere? You reading my game day notes?
He went inside, right? Because he saw the little opening, right? And I remember telling Yaya coming off the field during training camp, I'm like, you realize you're going to get like 5 sacks, just cleanup sacks. Just if you just be where you're supposed to
there.
be with
Yep.
Haason coming and Vita and Kalijah up the middle. If you just stay put right there, you're going to get like 5 cleanup sacks. Then you have a chance to get somewhere between 5 to 10 winning one-on-one. Like you can be a double-digit sacker with help from your teammates. Is that kind of the message you're telling him too? Is you got to stay outside and contain, and then if he's going to escape, he needs to escape inside rather than outside.
Well, that's part of the growth that I mentioned earlier. Like he got to take that next step, and it's a feel. It's instinctive.
Yeah.
Certain calls tell you stay outside always.
Right.
And it's a feel. You got to have patience, like you just mentioned, Scott. And that's why I'm doing push-ups because those are the moments where we got to fight. We got to
Right.
fight. And I
Yeah.
told him, I mentioned it earlier. Hey man, you are a partnership, and don't mess with your money because you mess with your money, you messing with my money, and you messing with us winning and losing. So that's when it gets a little volatile in there. And he's a big guy. I gotta be careful, but I'm here to let him know.
Right.
Yeah.
Adam, you were a big fan of David Walker, just like I was. It was a shame, right, to see David Walker, losing his rookie season in the first week of camp. It was kind of a gut punch to me because I was a big fan of this guy. I know you were as
camp
well.
Diary and talking to him, and he has all the potential.
When I was recruiting him, I initially just thought of James Harrison, short guy, that pit bull built like, and he's strong. He automatic got leverage. He swears he's 6 feet. I think he's about 5'11", but he's strong, explosive, and he played. He got a lot of sacks. I know he went to Central Arkansas, but he understands rushing. And what you just mentioned, he's a great guy. Everybody in the building already loves him. He's that classic Jason Light draft pick. You're gonna love him on the field and off the field. Great locker room guy. It sucks. It took the wind out of him because for a young guy, late pick, and people already started liking you. Not just on the field. You've seen his play. He was definitely gonna help us this year. And it took the wind out of us. And I think it was like the third day that he went down. So it sucks for him. But I'm expecting him to come back even stronger next year. But I'm definitely pleased with just his attitude, and I know what he's going to bring in the future to this organization.
Does it put some more pressure on Chris Braswell to really step up here in year 2? Because you had that second line was going to be David Walker and Chris Braswell, right? I mean, just in terms of those two young guys rushing the passer. Nothing against Nelly, but does it put a little bit more pressure now on Chris Braswell to team with Nelly on that second line and not have there be a fall off in terms of Reddick and Yaya when they're off the field? Now you got Braswell and Nelson, and they got to.
Well, I think the pressure last year being a second round pick, that's pressure in itself.
Mm-hmm.
And he don't have, I mean, he just got to get better. And main thing is man versus himself, as you guys know. But I'm really I'm really happy for his growth and way he looked last year, the way he looks now. And he has all the talent. You know, that's why we picked him in the second round. And he's hanging on every word. He's learning, watching tape, and we're studying guys. And he got to work his craft. And a lot of young guys that come in this league, you got to learn how to rush the passer. You know what I'm saying? I know he played it last year at Alabama, so he hasn't played a lot of ball. You know, typically when you go to them type of schools, you got to wait your turn. I know he was behind a lot of guys that got drafted high, but he has talent. He has a burst, and he just got to fine tune it. But I'm just happy that he's, you come to work and you got young guys that eager to learn. Shoot, makes your job easier. I get excited. And when I'm at home watching tape, I'm sending them stuff and stuff like that. So once he fine tunes that, he's gonna be a problem. Like it's gonna be a lot of competition. If they was here, those three guys, they're gonna be fighting for playing time, and that's what you want.
Yeah.
I asked Todd Bowles the other day about Marquise Watts and Jose Ramirez and Warren Peebles, and he said they got to put it together. Like they'll do the mental part right, but not the physical. The physical part right, but not the mental. What have you seen from these reserve outside linebackers? They're going to play a lot for you on Saturday, I would imagine, Larry. Marquise and Jose and Warren, they're going to play a lot. What do you need to see for one of these guys to step up and be outside linebacker number 5?
Well, typically I'll start with Peoples. He's a free agent.
Yeah.
And I try to tell him, I try to say, hey, there's no pressure. We don't have you suited in and playing a lot of ball for us this year.
Right.
We don't expect that. What we want to see from you, can you play fast?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Can you play fast? We already understand you're going to make mistakes. And I'm going to yell at you like you've been here 10 years, but don't worry about that. Play fast. Play fast. And, a lot, when you're the 5th and 4th guy, the special team coach, you got to impress him too.
Right.
I've been places where the more talented guy don't make it that spot. So they got to impress T-Mac on special teams. Jose and Watts been playing good. They've been in this defense. And I'm looking for, really, it comes down to tomorrow night.
Yeah.
And, they're all neck and neck. But T-Mac got to sign off on that too. So, and, I tell them day one, hey, you better make sure T-Mac is pleased with your play.
Yeah.
Because even if you growing and doing some good stuff at the outside linebacker position, he got to sign off on you because it's 53-man roster. But I like where them guys are at, and I'm excited. I want to see them guys Saturday night. And you always got to give them the real, like, it's 31 teams you're auditioning for.
Right.
You're 31 teams.
All about special teams. Like your second year in the league when you were with the Steelers, like that's how you carved out your role. You had 20 tackles your rookie year. Then your second year, you played mostly special teams, but you did well. So that is so important for like those kind of guys and making the team.
Oh, absolutely. I played a little bit. I always tell this story since you mentioned it. When I came in there, I was automatic behind Kendrell Bell. I don't know if you guys.
I remember Kendrell Bell.
He was rookie of the year.
Yep.
And I was so mad, like, why didn't you put me at the other position? So James Ferry comes over from the Jets, and he was like 5-year vet. And he was picking the defense. He was a little slow picking the defense up. It was all new. And he had an okay my first year. Kendrell was down, so I played a little bit. So year 2 come around, James Ferry ended up being better than Kendrell Bell.
Yeah.
So I said, let me start paying attention to this special teams beat so I can keep me a job. But if you're a backup, you got to be a guy on teams that they can rely on, and you can make plays. And if you mid-round, or if you're a backup, you got to hold that role until you get opportunity to start on defense.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
You got to embrace it. And if you don't, you never going to have opportunity because they ain't going to get rid of you before your opportunity come to play on defense.
You know, Larry,
Yeah.
I don't think you put the shoulder pads away from your playing days. We've seen you out there with shoulder pads. and not just that, but it's like you're such a hands-on players coach. What prompts you to put on the shoulder pads? Is that to give your guys a good look, or is that to protect yourself because you're not a spring chicken anymore? I mean, you suit up, you get out there. This is back from 2019. Look at you. You got the pad on, you got you're in the stance ready to go. And that's from 2019. You're still doing it. You're still out there in the pads, getting physical. Are you black and blue from these guys, beating you up in practice?
Man, I'm telling you, sometimes, no, but I put the shoulder pads on so they can start feeling like grabbing, just working on like snatching and pull. So when they're doing their long arm,
Yeah.
they can feel the pad. So I really been putting that on there so they can grab a little bit when they do their snatch and pull. But I kind of look at it like, kill two birds with one stone. I get a little conditioning in.
Yeah.
There are some video around here. Sometimes I get knocked off my feet a few times. Yaya got me in the spring.
Yeah.
But them guys be trying to give me some of them more than others because I can feel a little extra push in there. But I've been knocked down a few times, but I'm still, I can still get up.
And I thought it was interesting this offseason because Todd Bowles, he did a podcast and he's like, man, half the team doesn't even know I was a player back in the day. But for you, you're not as far removed from being a player. And so with that, like, how does that help you kind of relate to these guys and kind of coaching them up and developing them along the way?
It's a fraternity. They even if you didn't play, if you got good information for them, and one thing as a player in this league, we're looking for information.
Yeah.
However you present it, if it's going to help my game, I love you. If it's not going to help my game, so some of these guys are familiar with me. I'm starting to get on the other side. They go, who you play for? When I first started coming in, like Haason, for example, he grew up a Steelers fan, so he knew who I
He knew
was.
you.
And
Yeah.
some of the dads, they know who I am. Like Savase Dennis, he knew who I was. So that helps. But, player to player, once you're more keen, they can grab your ear faster than somebody who didn't play. But if you giving me good information, I'm ready to listen. Scott, you just gave some great information about Yaya and going inside too early. So it don't matter if you play.
Yeah, for sure.
I coached for 6 years in Pop Warner, and I loved it. It's like seriously the best 6 years of my life. It's one thing, when you cover the Buccaneers and you think you know football. Man, you don't know football until you can teach it, especially to like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12-year-old kids.
That's real coaching. I coach my kids now, 7-on-7.
Yeah.
My 13-year-old team, I'm over there. I'm an offensive line coach because he plays quarterback.
Wow.
He plays quarterback, so
okay.
I'm over there.
You want to make sure he's protected. Protect that investment. I like that.
Yeah. But that's real coaching. That is real coaching.
And by all accounts, you've seen like the Bucs defense so far this camp. Like they've been playing tighter coverage, and it's led to results like the 6 interceptions that we mentioned before. Like from your perspective, though, like how do you see players maybe communicating in different ways than they did last year?
Well, we got some new faces back there. We got Jacob Parrish, we got Morris, so we got some new guys back there. Vildor.
Yeah.
So we got some new faces, and the guys are excited. They're young, they're fresh, and I thought last year might have been our worst year since I've been here.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like it. I don't know the numbers offhand, but we really worked hard this offseason trying to clean that up and get the points down, obviously get the yards down. We always want more turnovers. I think you said we had 7, so that's been the point of emphasis. Like, hey, we got to be better on the back end, on defense, and make sure, trying to get to where we need to get to, and that's host another Lombardi.
That's right. What is your level of collaboration with Todd Bowles? Of course, he has he's such a defensive mastermind. He comes up with a lot of these exotic schemes and blitzes and looks and coverages. But when it comes to making those weekly defensive game plans, I know he relies on you a lot, somebody that he's been with for a long time. You and Casey Rogers kind of had that co-defensive coordinator role, and now you and George Edwards are in that role. But, Bowles calls the plays and leads the unit. But what type of responsibilities do you have? How do you help him assemble the game plan each week?
Well, it's hard when you say that sometimes. When you're working with Coach Bowles, I mean, he's been around there a long time, very smart, been around a lot of ball.
Yeah.
You got your suggestions, but the man knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
And he sees it. He does ask, he always asks for input, and you give it to him. I think we come from the same style, so we see the game the same way.
Yeah.
We see the game the same way, but tips are weaknesses, we should attack this, we should have this, and we just go from there. And he bounces ideas off of us all the time. But since I've been around him, Todd Bowles knows what he's doing, and he does receive a lot of help, but he got it. He understands. So the most part, I'm sitting back listening and learning. But we throw in tips. Everybody does.
Yeah. You're making that switch from inside linebackers coach to outside linebackers. Now, I've always wanted to ask you, and share with me what you can, be as candid or not as you want to be. But what happened with Devin White? I mean, such a promising career. 2019 as a rookie, scoops and scores, and it makes so many tackles, the blitzes, the sacks he put up. 2020, I mean, that playoff run, I mean, he was a Pro Bowler in 2021, and then it seemed like the wheels just fell off the wagon.
Well, I can make it short. You got to hold on to your passion.
Mm-hmm.
You got to hold on to your passion. You got to block out the distractions outside the ball. When you're so talented and you have so much success, this league, I done seen it. You gotta stay on it. Because if you neglect it any bit, the competition will catch you. You gotta be a pro in the off season. You gotta take care of your body.
Yeah.
And you gotta limit the distractions.
Yeah.
You gotta limit it, because if you neglect it, I'm telling you, you're gonna look up and you're gonna be like, man, and you try to hustle and get it back, and it's a fight.
Right.
Once you lose it, it's hard. I would say that, and it's always, it's not as bad as they say, and it's not as good as you think.
Right.
And he's at that, he got another opportunity.
Yeah.
And really, with those guys are that talented, the ball is in your court.
Right.
Right.
And that's the way I look at all those guys. The ball is in your court. And hopefully he makes the most out of his opportunity out in Oakland. But he did a lot of good for us.
Right.
Early on, that temptation, getting a lot of money, a lot of popularity, that can, soften you up a little bit.
Yeah.
And Coach, just want to thank you again for your time. We have a couple more questions for you, but I have one more on the outside or inside linebacker position, and that's Servassier Dennis. You've coached him up the past couple of years, but now that he's healthy and he looks primed for a starting role, how do you see him making an impact?
He's a playmaker. He's instinctive. He's one of those guys, I remember when I was watching him at Pitt, like he got instincts. And that is what you cannot coach at that position. You cannot coach instincts. You got to have a feel what they're doing before they do it. And if you have that, you can make plays. And he's very athletic. He likes to play. He wear the little glass. He don't look tough, but he's tough. He don't look tough.
He looks smart.
He looks like a dork. You can say he looks like a little dork. But he is tough. He has that it factor. And, I don't never want to compare nobody to Levante David, but I can compare him as far as people will follow him eventually when he becomes that guy. He can be next in line as far as being a leader. The whole locker room respects him.
Yeah.
And he loves ball. He brings an energy that you want and look for and he's smart too. So
Yeah.
that's another part where guys will follow him because he knows his stuff. He makes the calls and checks, and as we keep going, I can see him just sliding right into that role as Levante with that C on his chest.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you mentioned Devin White and him going out to Las Vegas. He's not the only one, though, because John Spytek, who you're very familiar with, having played with him at Michigan, he's out there. And then there's this other guy, a Wolverine teammate you played with named Tom Brady. They're all out there. So just want to ask you, like, what are your thoughts about them all kind of going out there and pairing up once again?
Shoot, a lot of familiarity out there. We can call it the Tampa of the West, but no, those guys that do good. Spot Tech being groomed by Jason Light, and you see the success. He knows what he's looking at. Very sharp, knowing Spot back in college. He's always been a competitor, and just being here with him, he loves ball. You can see our talent. He helped assemble a lot of talent here, and he knows what he's doing. Tom is gonna, I don't know what role he's technically he's serving out there, but I know he's gonna demand excellence. And I love to hire our big Pete Carroll fans. So hopefully them guys, I'll be rooting for them. They can be one of my AFC teams over there on that side. And I hope Devin White, I've been watching him in preseason, he playing, look like he's flying around. And hopefully, the love for the game and that passion, you can see it.
Yeah.
You'll see it 45 flying all over the place. I'll say, okay, that's the Devin we know.
Yeah. Speaking of familiar faces, you guys have just rolled through offensive coordinators. You've seen 4 different offensive coordinators the last 4 seasons in Tampa Bay. The last 2, Dave Canales and Liam Cohen, have gone on to become head coaches. Larry, Todd Bowles is a bit of a kingmaker when it comes to picking offensive coordinators. What do you see that you like from Josh Grizzard so far? We had him on the podcast last night. I think he's fantastic, but you see him up close personal. You go against him every day.
Right.
What are your thoughts on Grizz?
Well, I told Grizz the last 2 been at the coach's Bible study every Friday, and they went on and got a head coaching job. So I need a full participation every Friday. You got to be there because Dave and Lynn was there and end up being a head coach. But
he needs to get in the word, is what you're saying.
Need to get in the word. But no, he's a sharp dude. He is sharp. He loves ball. People like him. He's one of those guys, similar to Todd Bowles. Like, man, people like him. His coaching staff and being a leader, that's important. Just my short time in this league, like the coaches, he has that it factor that people gonna like him. He's sharp. He just knows ball. I know he come down there in Miami, so he got a little bit of that. With Lim and all those guys are kind of connected. So I like his style, like how he carries himself. And since he got here, nothing but good things and positive. And it was kind of like a no-brainer a little bit who's going to replace him. But we got other guys on the staff that's doing an awesome job that was in consideration. And I'm excited. That offense got to keep on rolling.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Coach, this is my last question for you. You guys have come so close to getting 50 sacks as a defense in a season. I think you guys have ranged from like 44 to 47 since Todd Bowles has come down to Tampa Bay. Is this year, is 2025 the year that the Bucs defense finally gets 50 sacks?
I hope so. We got the talent. I keep saying that. We got the talent. It plays, the back end and the front end, it goes hand in hand. We need them guys to be close. We need to get off blocks. We need to hunt. We need to have that mentality. Got to be in shape. To get sacks, you got to have a motor.
Yeah.
I can't stress that enough. You guys got to be in shape.
Relentless, right?
Relentless. Yeah. And you gotta have enough. I always say you gotta make enough deposits during the week, and them loans got to be big and ready to roll. Yeah. But hopefully we can crack that 50 mark. And it ain't just the front guys. We got a lot of backers and DBs that like the blitz. And I'm excited for the season. And, at the end of the day, if we're hosting another Lombardi, I don't care how many sacks we got, I'll be a happy man.
This is very true.
Coach,
I'll
the
be a
last one
happy
for me,
man.
we appreciate your time. Jason Light thinks the world of you. Todd Bowles thinks the world of you. The players think the world of you. Do you have defensive coordinator aspirations at some point in time? Do you want to be a head coach? What's on the horizon long term for Larry Foote?
Just winning Lombardi, another Lombardi. That question comes up, and I done had a lot of guys call me. The tough part is I got kids that love Tampa. I
Yeah,
love Tampa, and when you go to work with people you love, that's hard to start.
yeah,
And I definitely got aspirations, but I just love this place, and it had to be something. I had to pray. I'm a praying man. I'm a very
yeah.
spiritual man, but that'll be hard to leave this place because it's just the community here. That's hard to
Yeah,
walk away from. That is hard to walk away from. I know a lot of people say that, but I mean that. I
yeah,
love
Yeah.
coming in this building. It's a lot people from the janitor all the way up to Jason Light, and it's some awesome people. And I'm not surprised why we didn't have so much success because you get a lot of good people together. I'm telling you, success comes right behind it. And
that's right.
starting up top, the Glazers, Jason and Todd, them guys are doing an awesome job bringing the right people in, and that'll be hard to leave. That'll be
Yeah,
hard to leave.
well
Well said.
said. Coach, we got one more question for you. This is from one of our Pewter um, Platinum members. He's 0813 with the $5 super chat. Larry, in your
Thank you, Giza.
coaching career so far, who's been the best player you've ever coached outside of Levante David?
Whoa, coach, that is hard. I would say I like to say Shaq and JPP 1A 1B
Right.
because they were both just so dominant. Both of them Pro Bowlers, so I would have to
Yeah.
say those guys right there.
Yeah.
I would say those guys right there. There's no mistake about Levante Davis, a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
That was easy, but those two are right there because they were just so they so dominant. They were
Yeah.
so dominant, and that run, we was looking at some of their film of those guys. So I would
Mhm.
say those two.
And maybe a couple of years from now, your answer will change, and you'll say Haason Reddick and Yaya Diaby based upon what they do this year, and maybe next year and the year after that.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to it.
We're looking forward to seeing you out there Saturday nights doing your thing, coaching these guys up, and then certainly this season. Coach, thanks so much for your time. Good luck
Thank you.
this season in 2025. And hey, 50 sacks in the 50th year of the franchise. That has a nice ring to it, doesn't it?
There it is with the third Super Bowl. Let's get it.
Sounds good. Coach Larry Foote, thanks so much for your time. Appreciate
Thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
I'm telling you, that guy is phenomenal. I have been around some great pass rush coaches here in Tampa. The three guys that stand out to me: Rod Marinelli, right back there on Tony Dungy's staff, John Gruden's staff, and then Joe Cullen was here. Lovie Smith's staff, he did wonders. Now he's with Kansas City with the Chiefs, winning Super Bowls, with Kansas City.
Yeah.
Larry Foote's up there, man. He has a passion for pass rush. He knows what it takes to get after the quarterback, and he is trying to, take some of these young raw guys, Yaya Diaby, Chris Braswell. They didn't have 20, 30 sacks in college, and get that out of them. I mean, I remember seeing Coach after David Walker was placed on injured reserve, Sly, and he was distraught. He's like, man, this kid would have played a lot for us. We have to remember when he got hurt, David Walker kind of had a freak ACL injury. It wasn't like a contact thing. It just, that happens sometimes. But they were practicing 2-minute pass rush, right? 2-minute drill. And it was all starters. And Yaya Diaby was on one side and David Walker was on the other. Now, of course, you're going to have Haason Reddick in game situations, but they wanted to see what David Walker could do with the starters in that situation. That tells me he was going to be outside linebacker 3 this year, and it's a big loss for them.
It really is, because when you look at David Walker, like his production, like even for just being a 4th-round pick, he looked like so much more than that. And he would have gone higher, Scott, if it wasn't for his size. But he was showing that, like even as Larry Foote mentioned, he had that James Harrison-like quality to him.
Yeah.
There was comparisons to like Dwight Freeney, Robert Mathis, like smaller
right.
guys, but still able to be dominant. And we saw him out there when he was on the field. He
Yeah.
flashed that, and he looked like the steal of the draft. So for Chris Braswell, like Larry Foote's like, we're coaching him up. He didn't have as much playing time at Alabama as maybe you would have liked him to.
Yeah.
But he's going to be outside linebacker 3 now. So he has a lot of pressure and expectations on his shoulder.
Yeah.
But just Larry Foote in general, we had him for 40 minutes. And
I know.
The thing that stands out is his passion.
Yeah.
And like he loves football. He played 13 seasons. He's still on the relatively young side. This is an older defensive coaching staff, but he's 45 and he has a bright future ahead of him.
I know. It's 6:45 right now. I want to go to the South Pasco Predators and coach football again. He got me fired up. I mean, he has so much energy. And as Kevin Thomas says, appreciate this, Kevin. Wow, what a great interview. Now I understand, Scott, why you have him pinned like you have him. Amazing energy. Yeah, he does. He brings the energy. And quite honestly, and I don't want to like knock George Edwards because he just has a different coaching style. And I love him in the role that he's in right now. I think having kind of that bird's eye view where he can kind of be a walk around coach, not have a position, and he can help Todd Bowles. And remember, he's the pass game coordinator. What have we seen so far? We've seen 16 pass breakups, 6 interceptions so far in 2 preseason games. Adam, we have seen a tighter coverage, and I think he's played a role in that, working with Nick Rapone, working with Kevin Ross, and working with Mike Caldwell, the linebackers coach. The back end is tighter, communicating more, making more plays. And I'm going to give George Edwards a lot of credit for that because they gave him a lot of crap as the outside linebackers coach. And I just think that he was out of position. And I give Todd Bowles a lot of credit for making that really big-time change this offseason, bringing Mike Caldwell back to replace Larry Foote at inside linebacker and sending Larry Foote back home where he belongs, up front in the trenches, getting those guys with their ears pinned back, going after the quarterback because they didn't get enough pressure from those outside linebackers. Sly, when your leading sacker in the outside linebacker room is Yaya Diaby with 4.5, not nearly enough.
No, it's not. And it's crazy about Larry Foote, right? Because he's an inside linebacker in the NFL, but he just fits coaching outside linebackers. Like it's a different position than he played, but just the toughness and the physicality, like he's suited to coach that position. And kind of going back to George Edwards, like his value is not coaching a position. I think that time came and went. Like he was a solid outside linebackers coach, I think for the Dolphins back in the day with Cameron Wake. But at this point, he's good. Like for all his extensive NFL knowledge, just a bird's eye view, as you mentioned, having that perspective and then coaching where he can, just kind of fitting in the gaps. Because what Todd Bowles did in overhauling this defensive coaching staff, like bringing Mike Caldwell back is huge. Like you've seen Nick Jackson, John Bullock, Antonio Greer, like these underrated guys, like have really good preseason. So just in general, like I think moving Larry Foote back to, where the defense had the most success was when he was coaching those outside linebackers.
I agree. And I've said it before, coaching matters. I was on doing a radio interview today, and I was asked about Liam Cohen and how I think he's going to fare in Jacksonville. And I said, the thing is what I've learned in my 30 years of doing this, the 3 best head coaches in Tampa Bay Buccaneer history. John Gruden won a Super Bowl, has got the most wins. Right behind him in terms of total wins, Tony Dungy, and he set the table for Gruden winning it, right? And really turned the Yuccaneers into the Buccaneers. And then you have Bruce Arians, only here for 3 years, the best winning percentage out of any head coach in Bucs history, and of course won a Super Bowl. What do those 3 guys have in common? Great coaching staffs. Greg Schiano was a good coach. Lovie Smith was a good coach. The problem is they did not have the staffs. They had a good position coach here or a good position coach there, but across the board, those coaching staffs were inferior. And this is a league where you have to develop talent. Drafting well is one thing, but taking a C player, turning him into a B player is important. Drafting a player with A-level talent and making sure that you get an A player out of that talent rather than, an A player that turns into a C player because he's not coached up. He's not coached the right way. Coaching matters. And this is a great coaching staff that Todd Bowles has assembled. But to my point about Liam Cohen, we'll see how Liam Cohen does in Jacksonville based upon the staff he put together. And I mentioned on that interview, I said, hey, Liam assembled this offensive coaching staff here, right?
He
So much so that he wanted to take him to Jacksonville. Jason Light said, no.
Not
We're
today.
keeping him. Yeah, not today. So it matters. And having a guy like Larry Foote that can take Chris Braswell to the next level, Yaya Diaby, level him up, and still squeeze what Haason Reddick has got out of him and get him back to double-digit sack form. It's so valuable.
It is. And I know you've mentioned to me in the past, like back when you were a Pop Warner coach, taking those C-level players, like those role players, and making them those B players. And that's something that Larry Foote's now tasked to do with Chris Braswell. Like, he doesn't have to be a world beater. Doesn't have to get 8 to 10 sacks. He just has to do his job when he's in there. And you made that point when kind of talking about Diaby. Like, Diaby has all the potential in the world to be a double-digit sack guy. But, you know, he has guys around him that are going to help, like Elijah Cansey, Vita Vea. They're going to open up some lanes. So, like, for the outside linebacker room in general, there is a lot of talent. And Foote reiterated that again and again. But it's going to come down to guys just doing their job. Like, they don't have to go out there and be the sole reason why quarterbacks get taken down.
That's right. Listen, if you're a Buccaneer fan, and we know that you are because you're watching this podcast, if you're not going to the game on Saturday, you need to do your job, and that's to get to walk-ons where you can eat like a winner, drink like a champ. Their happy hour is going on right now from 6 to 9 because it's Thursday. They've got a 3 to 6 happy hour on Friday. But, you know, to be honest, folks, why not celebrate another victory Monday at walk-ons? Because on Monday they have a happy hour from 3 to close. And then they have another happy hour on Tuesday that's all-day happy hour plus $5 Tito's. You can eat like a winner, drink like a champ at 3 Tampa Bay area locations. Midtown Tampa down there by the stadium, Wesley Chapel up by my neck of the woods, and Lakeland. If you haven't had a chance to go to walk-ons yet, the food is fantastic. There are TVs galore for you to watch all of the games. I'm going to be there watching my Kansas State Wildcats in week 0 against Iowa State, Farmageddon, over in Ireland.
Ooh,
how about that?
Yeah,
can't wait for that game. As
watch a game and then catch a beer, or get a beer or two. You know,
probably a beer because I've got to go to the stadium Saturday night to go cover this Bucs Bills game. I can't get too hammered, but depends on the outcome of the game, though. But as Jeremy Steed says, "Emaw, every man a Wildcat, go Cats." Appreciate that very much. You know, Matt, and I always say we appreciate our Pewter Platinum members. And Sly, you got a chance to meet a lot of our Pewter Platinum members at our walk-ons get together. And if you have not had an opportunity to become a Pewter Report TV channel member, I'm going to tell you how to do it. It's real easy. It's the best way you can support our channel here by becoming a channel member. And we've got a special Pewter Report Insider podcast coming up tomorrow. Matt Matera and I will be doing a Pewter Insider at 1:30. And the topic for that Pewter Insider podcast is going to be Josh Grizzard and how he has fared for the first 2 games in the preseason. He'll be up in the box coaching against the Bills, but the first 2 games, we're going to go over that and evaluate Josh Grizzard's play calling. That's for our Pewter Platinum and Premier members. That's tomorrow at 1:30 here on Pewter Report TV, our YouTube channel. If you are not a member, you can become one. The Pewter People members get some loyalty badges, custom emojis for $3.99 a month. The Pewter Pro members get early access to my Pewter Pulse videos and your top 10 takeaway videos, Adam, for $6.99 a month. The Pewter Premier and Pewter Platinum members for $9.99 a month and $24.99 a month get even more perks and privileges, including that Pewter Insider podcast that we do every Friday at 1:30. So if you have the opportunity, we'd love for you to consider becoming a Pewter Report TV channel member. All of our funds that we get from our memberships go right towards our travel budget. We sent you and Matt to Pittsburgh for the joint practice. And how was that experience?
Yeah, it was great. Had a nice hotel in the middle of downtown Pittsburgh, and then we were able to go and cover both practices and provide the Pewter people with in-depth camp reports about all the action, what was going on. Even though we couldn't record when we were at the stadium with the Steelers, we still saw a ton of action, and it's only possible because of the Pewter membership. So definitely give those a look. And Scott, I'm really excited about these emojis, man. What can we expect with those? Can you share maybe who's going to be an emoji?
I got to make a Todd Bowles emoji before the start of the season, right?
Okay.
We're going to have Todd Bowles. We're going to have Haason Reddick. We're probably going to do some variants too. A couple of more of Vita Vea, Yaya Diaby. I'm going to focus heavily on the defensive guys, of course. We'll get an Emeka Ibuka emoji going and all of that. So yeah, really, really cool stuff going there. And the Pewter Platinum member meetup in June was fantastic. We got to meet a lot of our Pewter Platinum members there. We had Zion McCollum, the Bucs cornerback, signing autographs, taking pictures. Mike Greenberg was there, telling some inside scoop, inside stories that you're not going to hear anywhere else, signing autographs, taking pictures. And we want to thank all of our Pewter Platinum members: Scott Federico, Rachel Gordon, Noah Parr, Scotty J, Dave Anderson, Hezo813, Ash Fishpool, Joel Elrican, Sam, John Dale Morris, Sat Brannigan, RP89, Connor For Reals, Kevin Thomas, Leighton Carter, The Guy Is Gifted, Brandon Riley, Alec Bickler, Nick Dubuque, Zach Jarvis, who was at that member meetup, Mario Thomas, Eric McMillan, and Dominic Tarantino. Thank you so much
Thank you guys
for becoming Pewter Platinum members. And we just got a new member. We're excited to tell you. And that is Alan Karen McElhaney. Thank you so much for becoming Pewter Report TV YouTube channel members. Greatly appreciate that. Want to get your thoughts, because we did a separate podcast on this earlier. It was an emergency podcast here on Pewter Report TV. Matt and I talked about the return of Chris Godwin. It's on the horizon now. Adam, let me get your thoughts before we end the show tonight.
Yeah, it's good news that Chris Godwin, he has a chance to even come back a little bit sooner. And just right now, getting the opportunity to get back into football shape and return, I think it's going to be a boon for the wide receiver room, because it was one that, with the Jalen McMillan injury, the depth is just going to be tested so much. When Sterling Shepard, he's beginning the year as wide receiver 3, and I think he'll do an all right job. But the news about Chris Godwin being good, man, you love to hear it, because Godwin, he's been through so much in his career. He suffered his second severe injury last season.
Right.
So getting the opportunity to recover, like you saw it after his torn ACL, he was ready in week 1. It doesn't look like it'll be happening this time around, but getting him back sooner rather than later, it's going to be great for Josh Grizzard, because all the weapons he can get, he'll take them.
Yeah, man, the cavalry is coming. Tristan Wirfs is coming back. Jalen McMillan will be back probably before the bye week. So with Chris Godwin. So it's fantastic. That's some great news. The other great news is it's starting to get a little cooler. It's still hot, but it's not as hot as it was in July and the early part of August. We're almost in September, and that means that the weather's just going to get better and better for golf. So if you have yet to go to Heritage Isles Golf and Country Club, you're looking for a new challenge, make sure you do. It is a country club, but also open to the public. It's ranked in the top 3 in terms of best value courses in the Tampa, St. Petersburg area by Golf Advisor. For tee times, give them a call at 813-907-7447. That's 813-907-7447. And log on to Heritage Isles Golf and Country Club and get your tee time going, because it's a fantastic course. If you have not tried it, it's up here in the new Tampa area, and beautiful scenery, and plenty of tee times are available. So make sure you give them a call. One last message here, folks. If you are looking to help your business score some new customers, advertise with us. We have sponsorship opportunities available, and you can email me at sr@pewterreport.com, and I'll tell you about our podcast traffic, our website traffic, our social media. We have about 120,000 social media followers between the different channels. Shoot, I'll even come out and speak to you guys in a corporate setting. That's right. You can give me an email at sr@pewterreport.com, and I'm happy to come out there and talk to your business, offering up a State of the Bucs address, lively in-person Q&A sessions, inside scoop on the team from my 30 years of coverage. So happy to help out the corporate world with some Bucs talk. That's the fun part. Book me for some of those engagements that you have with your staff, and we'll talk Bucs football. This is going to be a very exciting season, Adam. I'm excited even for this preseason game Saturday night.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be a great game. And even though it's going to be Kyle Trask is likely going to start, you're going to see Teddy Bridgewater, a lot of the backups. It's exciting based on the fact that you're seeing guys that are hungry to make the team, hungry for what could perhaps be their only shot to make an NFL roster. They're going to be out there. They're going to be giving it their all. And they're going up against the Buffalo Bills, which, although it's preseason, they were still a playoff team last year. So you kind of get that energy, that vibe. It'll be a fun time.
It will. And they're coming off a 38-0 thumping at the hands of the Bears. So they're going to want to be out for blood on Saturday night in Tampa Bay. The Bucs versus Bills postgame podcast. We'll have that for you less than an hour after the game on Saturday night. So make sure you stay tuned to Pewter Report TV. That's where you can find out all of our best Bucs coverage on PewterReport.com, as well as Pewter Report TV. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. We're over 20,000 subscribers, thanks to you. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, X, and Instagram at Pewter Report. And I'm looking forward to tomorrow's Pewter Insider Show, and then that post-game show is going to be really fun. We appreciate Larry Foote for joining us. Thank you so much, Coach, for that. And for Adam Slaban, I'm Scott Reynolds, saying we'll see you soon for another edition of the Pewter Report